Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another live edition of Mafia Roundtable with Dominic Cicali. See, there we go. I'll just keep my head tilted, but this damn hat. No, my boy gave me this hat, sent it to me. See, I got two of these. Sent me two hats, so more to come. But hope everybody's having a great evening and wishing everybody the very best. So we're going to talk about going to a little bit of Mafia, talk about Angelo Prisco, who I knew personally. We're going to talk about Louis Arricchio, who I also knew personally. Johnny DeDilio, I did not know him. And his driver, Richie, who I knew personally. So we'll have a pretty informative show tonight with the Mafia. And then I'm going to talk about Angelo Prisco, how slighted he probably was, how disheartened with the crime family he was. And I'll state my reasons. And we'll also talk about Johnny Balls Lido, who actually helped put Angelo away for life. So first off, I want to say hello to everybody. Patricia, glad you dropped by. Thank you for coming on. Kevin, German, as usual. Richie, thank you. Francisco, hello, everybody. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Xavier James, all is well, my brother. All is well. We have Lawson, hello, from Denmark. We have Denmark in the house, Ireland in the house. Thank everybody for coming on. Love going back and forth. And this is the channels going. We're transitioning to Cicali Corner Unfiltered. So where nothing's off limits. We're going to talk about everything. And, there's going to be things I don't agree with, but I respect people's opinions. And that's what it's about. So once we have the new format set up, everything, I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun channel, very informative with everything. Cynthia, hello to you as well. Appreciate you coming on. And Scott, hello, everyone. We have a piece in New York. Dom, do you have a website or social media where I can see your stock picks? You want the picks. You saw Boeing today, right? And I said Boeing. Now, folks, it usually doesn't happen that quick. But I guess, is what it is. Why the heck? There we go. I feel like my head's crooked. I'm looking at myself. See, my hair's a mess, but who cares? All right. Anyway, I'll go into stocks later on in the evening, but they're my picks. I'm not promoting. Spoke with the attorneys yesterday, so I'm going to have to get some guidelines drafted up because, and I'll go into how grimy sometimes the SEC is, and they have a quadruple standard for them and then regular people, which shouldn't be because they have chat rooms where they talk about stocks, what stocks to get, and nobody says anything with that. But like what happened with GameStop when it bit them in the ass, all those short sellers, that they lost 12 billion, I think it was, maybe even more. Then all of a sudden, it's wrong, it's not right, but it's right for them to rob innocent people like us. So manipulate the stocks. That's okay. But when it happened to backfire and it happened by accident, that's all right. But we'll go into that at a later time. We have a pretty packed show tonight. Anyway, people, before we get started, please go to egvodka.com. Order it today, 100% gluten-free, organic. Great vodka. Hands down, it's the best on the market. And I'm a vodka drinker. Go there. It's great for the holidays. Pick it up for a holiday gift. They're really excellent. You can't go wrong. Everybody who tried it, I haven't had one person say they didn't like it. It's that good. So go to egvodka.com today. Order it. Okay, making sure my mics are working on this computer. All right, so we're going to go into Angelo Prisco. For those of you who don't know, Angelo Prisco was very, very close to my family. At one time, and I'll go back to when I was a kid, I might have been, I want to say 6 years old, 7 years old in the neighborhood. I'm not going to say, the relative's house we were at. But But Angelo was a big name. My father was away in jail. My mother and father were divorced. So he dated my mother for a short time. And I remember him pulling up to the house, blowing the horn. Everybody came out, and he got all the kids a Mickey Mouse watch at that time, and not the wristwatch, folks. It was a massive, like big, big round watch with the band that you hang it on the wall. And I remember, I wish I still had it today. It'd probably be a collector's item. But he got all the kids, in the family, came up maybe with a dozen of those big watches. So relatives, everybody got the watch. So that's where I remember Angelo from. Now, back in the day, Angelo used to sell heroin. He is Michael Nose's cousin. I'm almost 1,000% sure with that. They're related some way, shape, or form. He never really cared for Michael Nose. He said it when I sat down with him and Vinny. And it was funny because he had a house in Greenwood Lake on the Jersey side of Greenwood Lake. It's in Wattawa Park, Bear Mountain, for those of you who don't know, upstate New York. And my grandparents had a house, Wattawa Park. It went up a mountain. When I went there with my wife, she said, "Mountain, this is a hill." As a kid, everything looks much bigger. But and you would have to blow the horn going up because that's how tight the mountain was. No street lights or anything on the mountain. So during the summertime, we'd all be there. Angelo had the speedboat. They would water ski. We'd get on the back with the tubes. We were kids. And he'd come with his son, one Michael, and I forgot the other kids' names. But we would all hang out, and he'd do a firework display, and we had a good time for the summer. Then as the years went by, everybody went their own directions. But Angelo was known to be around the Purple Gang, with the Purple Gang. And the Purple Gang, folks, yes, they had a very, very bad reputation, very dangerous. But even as Vinny said, now, it was before my time, but I'm from the neighborhood, so we have the guys there. Michael, Washwoman the Nose, was a flunky for them. And they used to party. They had a lot of bodies, a lot of work they put in, hurting people, harming people, extorting. But they were all on drugs. They were high. And that was Vinny's main thing. He says, no, they're dangerous, but they all had to do, they were all coked out, drugged out, whatever it was for them to do a piece of work. And he says, that's not a true gangster. Do a piece of work straight. And there's some other, listen, I have a lot of stories. And I can even say this, even when I was being groomed by Big Ernie Muscarello, he even told me, you go straight. You do it straight. And, if anything ever happens, and I'll go into those stories, I'm going to give him the respect to wait till he passes. But, and that's the respect I do have for him till this day. So, with that, they were known as just a wild bunch, druggies. And Angelo was a heroin dealer back then. And so much, it was a relative's house Angelo would go to, and he would actually bring an ounce at a time and cut up the heroin at the house, and he'd give the relative some money. So that's the roots, how far back I go with Angelo. Well, not myself, but my family and then myself. Then later on, when I finally met Angelo with Vinny, I didn't know what he looked like. He didn't know what I looked like. I was a baby. So it's Dominic. And I said, Sicali, yeah. So he put two and two together. Linda? I said, yeah, that's my mother. I said, I remember the Mickey Mouse watch you got me. He said, come here, give me a hug. And he hugged me. He says, damn, you got big. And, we were talking. So I had a good relationship with him every time he'd meet with Vinny. And at that time, I wasn't straightened out. And they would keep me involved in the conversations. Now, Angelo was the type of guy, him and Vinny were very, very close. They had girls together, hang out, partied together, that tight. So tight, when Vinny got caught up with the Blue Thunder case, which was one of the biggest heroin cases back in the day, Vinny took it to trial. He was found not guilty. The other 20 some odd co-defendants were all found guilty. Vinny and I think Larry Weinstein were found not guilty. And Angelo went and told Joe Messina, if you kill him, because that's a death sentence, especially the magnitude of that Blue Thunder case, Vinny by rights should have been dead. However, Vinny was found not guilty. So how are you going to kill a man if he's not found guilty of the crime? But everybody knew Vinny was behind it. He was one of the heads of that case of the heroin trafficking. But Angelo stood up. He says, if you're going to kill anybody, kill me. Vinny's my friend, my brother, and he's innocent. He didn't do anything here. If you're going to kill anybody, kill me. And, he meant it. That's how close they were, their relationship. So Angelo was a legend. Good guy, stand-up guy. Did time. He went away. He said he was responsible for the John DeDilio murder. And I have to disagree with that. He never went away for that. He went away for arson in the state. Now, going into the John DeDilio murder, John DeDilio was a captain in the Genovese crime family in New Jersey. Being very disrespectful, thought he had his own family. And then from what I was told, he went to trial, was representing himself, and they wound up finding him missing. His driver, I was away with Richie, Cisco, I think his name was, the last name, Cisco. I like Richie, degenerate gambler, and he could shoot some pool. I was with him in Talladega, Alabama. He was part of that. He was John DeDilio's driver. So the day of the hit, of course, Richie lured him to Louis Arricchio, who I was also away with in Farrington, New Jersey. And Louis pled guilty to that killing, that he was the shooter in the case. And I remember when I was with Richie said, yeah, the guy Louis is no good and this and that. And I didn't put two and two together until years later. Afterwards, I met Louis in Farrington. I was up there with Robert Piscula, who was also from my neighborhood. He was a younger kid around me on the street when I was out there. It wasn't really around me, but when I was dealing drugs, he was one of the younger kids. He wasn't in the streets yet. And I would take him with me in the car. And he told me, he says, Dom, I remember when you used to go collecting, you just throw the money in the back and there was piles of money all over the car, stacks. And he says, I wanted to be like you. I wanted to be a drug dealer, have the money, have the cars, the jewelry. And he wound up doing his own thing. So I went away. They grew up and he did his own thing. But, and he told me that. So he was with me, and there was a kid, Robert Brooksy. Loved him. His father was very close with Paulie Vario. So we were tight, the three of us. And you had some other guys there. You had Frankie the Bug from the Columbos. You had Sammy Meatballs. He was there. He wasn't made out, but he was around the Columbos. Who else you had there? A few guys from Boston were there. Another guy, too, Anthony Bazile. He was there. That was another heroin dealer from Harlem. So you had a few guys in Farrington at that time. Oh, at that time, I ran to A-Light. That's where I met Johnny A-Light. You had the guys from Philly. Stanford was there. His bodyguard, Nick. Just a whole crew of guys. So when we're over there on the compound, all of a sudden, word came out. Somebody sent word. Louis Arricchio was no good. And they sent the paperwork. He didn't cooperate, but he allocated. So at that time, when you would allocate, it would, they said, you're no good. Cannot allocate to anything. Admitting you're in the Mafia, this and that. They put a label on you real quick, and they'll consider you a rat. So that was the case here. I'm more than correct with that. So right away, we're like, okay, we're going to get him off the compound. So as we're plotting it, we're walking. All of a sudden, Brooksy went off. I don't know where the hell he went. And all of a sudden, you see cops running. The compound's getting locked down. They announce over the loudspeaker, lockdown, lockdown. Cops are running. And then as we're going to the unit, we see Brooksy handcuffed. We see Louis bleeding, and come to find out, Brooksy, like, you're supposed to wait for us. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. And Brooksy was maybe about 175 pounds, soaking wet, wiry, but he could hit. You could see that when we play around, and he had balls like King Kong. So he wound up fighting with Louis and banged him out. But and that's the way it was. Louis wound up dying. Said he passed away in January of 2021. On the street, he got out, and I like Louis. Louis was a nice guy. Always have the scarf around him. Cousine, hey, come here, come here, and he'd tell like Robert Biscula and Robert Brooks. So at that time, I had maybe 5 years in. They just maybe a couple of years. And they're like, oh, you have to look out for Dom. He's doing time here. He just, he's been away for a while. And it was just nice. There was a nice group there. So I enjoyed the group. So back with Angelo, Angelo wound up going away for the second time. He killed a guy, Sangiulo, I think Santagiulo. And he didn't kill him. He had Johnny Balls, Lito, who killed him. Lito, long and short of it all, cooperated, told on Angelo. Angelo got life in prison. What I find disrespectful and what had to bother Angelo, that's like, and I'll use me for an example, folks. That's like right now, Vinny Basciano's doing life because of me. I go up to New York. I start living, say, in Manhattan. Living in Manhattan. I open up a big construction company, becomes a monster. And I'm servicing jobs in Manhattan, Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, whether it be I have carpenters, I have drywall guys, framers, roofers, bricklayers. I'm rocking and rolling. How the hell let me back up. What do you think Vinny's going to be saying? He's going to get word in there. Dominic's running around. You have Bruno. You have Michael, the washwoman knows. You have, at the time, say, Tony Green, Tony Urso, Joe Camarano. You have everybody in the crime family. Johnny Joe. I'm doing life for this guy who put me away for life. And I'm here because of the crime family. And you're letting this guy back in because he's giving you money? He's giving people envelopes? Like, that is a smack in the face big time. So, and I don't condone violence anymore. I'm just stating facts. How do you think Angelo felt? Genovese, they say they're the elite crime family. You have this Johnny Lito, Johnny Balls, John Lito, Johnny Balls. And I was away with him too. Nice guy. I like him. Seemed like a tough guy. He can handle himself. Big boy. But back up there. Angelo's sitting doing life, scratching his head, saying, what the F am I doing here? That's what the Mafia has become, folks. So you have the Genovese, they say, is the most powerful crime family. Angelo Prisco, who's a powerful capo, very well respected, a legend, doing life, and you have his informant making money in Manhattan with all other wise guys, rubbing elbows, giving envelopes. It's a disgrace. And I think at one time, if I remember correctly, he had Johnny A-Light bodyguarding him, protecting him. Then they had a falling out. So, you could ask A-Light about it. I'm almost positive. A-Light was protecting Johnny Lito. He's his bodyguard, his enforcer afterwards because Lito was concerned. It's just a disgrace. So here you have the legend, Angelo Prisco, dies in jail. But before he dies, he had to feel like, if it was me, I have to be thinking, wow, I must be a piece of shit. I stand up for my crime family. I'm doing life because of the crime family. And then they let the rat back in the neighborhood doing whatever he wants, making money. He's giving envelopes and they don't do anything. I got to be the biggest sucker out there. And that's a fact, folks. That is a fact, known fact. And I know everybody. I was away with Lido. I was away with, like I said, Angelo, I knew very well. Sat down with him on a few occasions, even after I got straightened out, got a big hug and kiss from him when we met as friends. And very prideful. And if it was the other way around, if Angelo was out there and this was Vinny and I came out, Angelo would have killed me. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's just, wow. And then they talk about the mob, how the mob is, how respectful, and people want to talk down to somebody like me. Wow. But, it's a shame when you throw stones and you're living in a glass house. And that's the best analogy I could give. So, folks, that's the story tonight with that. And I'm not going to go into much more, but I have some other Angelo Prisco stories I'll tell with the loan shark and the extortions. We'll go into that at a later date as well. I'll talk a little bit about the stocks, and then, folks, I'm bouncing early. I have to go get my envelopes. It's Christmas time, so just joking. But people, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you like the content. Trying to keep it consistent, coming back out. We're going to build up the new channel, Sakali's Corner Unfiltered. So we'll just keep on going into it. Now, folks, I'll share a little bit with you as far as the stocks. And this is going to be my picks only. I'm not telling anybody what to get. Make that clear. I'm not a stockbroker. I'm not licensed. I'm just somebody who knows how to work the market, move it, see the trends, look at the charts. I don't even care with the charts because everything's so unpredictable. I go more or less with patterns. When I feel what I read, what I'm reading, when I watch things level out, support levels, and then I figure out the right buy-in time. That's my thing. That's what I do. And just to show you, I have long positions. My Boeing position's long. It's on an option. So I think my expiration date is in February, late February or March. So it's out there. And I picked it up, my option, in the money. In the money means it's relatively $1 or $2 that it's currently trading at. You're buying in the money. Out of the money, if something's trading at $100 and you buy the option that's $150, that's out of the money. You anticipate a big jump. And if you remember, about a month ago, I showed you what I did with Tesla. That's what I did before the earnings. I bought out of the money. I picked it up 23 cents a share, loaded up, and that thing shot up. Went all the way up to $19 a share in 2 days. So I didn't sell at that, but I sold around the $10 mark, a little more than 10. So I did very well with that. But my day trading, what I'll do is, okay, you have in options. Now I'm explaining. I'm not just giving people insight. Usually I'll do it Monday, Tuesday. What I'll do is, what you want to do, if you're going to day trade it, if I feel the stock is weak, but it has potential, I might exercise my expiration date beyond 7 days. So I'll go maybe 2 or 3 weeks out, knowing I might need time just to cover me. It just depends. And it's what the options are trading at too. But this week on 12/3/24, which was yesterday, at 10:50 a.m., I bought 40 contracts, which equate to 4,000 shares. I picked it up. It was trading at around 350 Tesla. I bought the options at $7. Cost me $7 a share, and my expiration date was this week, at the end of the week on the 6th. So, and I anticipated to get out that same day. Sometimes the stock is not moving, and you take a hit. And right now I'm taking a big hit with Meta. Tried doing that too, shortening out Meta's Facebook. After I sold out, I figured, let me get a put, it'll retract. So I'm losing there, but so be it. Nothing you could do. You have to take the good with the bad. So what I did was I picked up those 40 contracts, and at $7. Today, I sold those 40 contracts at 3:50 p.m. at $9.35. If you look, it's trading. It closed, I think, like at 10.60 was the last trade. So I put my sell order in. I had it in all day. So it just executed by itself. So I didn't have to stay in front of the computer. But that executed at 9:35. So just so you know with the options, here's the examples. This is why people say you can make a lot more money with options for your investment dollars. My total investment was $28,000. So if you didn't have it for 40 contracts, you could have bought 4 contracts. It would cost you $2,800. So you downsize it. Well, my investment cost me $28,000. In a day, in a 24-hour period, a little over 24 hours from the time factor, but basically a day, the next day, I sold it and I made a $9,400 profit. I profit out of it, or for $28,000. So do the math, folks. Not bad. So for people who don't have that money, listen, you could have invested $2,800, would have got you 4 contracts, which equate to 400 shares, and you would have made $940 profit, which is not bad. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So off of the 2,800, you would have made $940, which is not bad either. So it just depends what you could afford, but that's my day trading in and out. But what did I tell everybody yesterday? I said, I'm going to get Boeing. I like it. It's my pick. One of my picks, because I felt it was hovering, bottomed out. It popped the other day, when retreated back. So it found the base. And lo and behold, today, and I told people I'm long on it. So I loaded up. My expirations is either February or March. And today we had a pop with that. It closed $3.28 up. At one point during the day, it was up $5.20. It hit 160 again. So it seems like 160 is the resistant level. So it goes there, retreats back, goes there. Second time it did it. Usually the third, I can't say definite. Usually the third time, fourth time, it breaks through. Once it breaks through, I didn't see the resistance, but I feel it should go 170, 175. Might even go higher. If they come out with some good news, that thing really, like I said, I read somewhere they have $1 trillion in contracts. Now, it might be over the next 5 years, 6 years, because it takes a while to build some planes, but that's what I'm doing. But folks, I have the lawyers gearing up. I'm just making sure I'm compliant, whatever I do. And then I'm going to probably set it up where I'm thinking like a chat room. A chat room, people come in, log in, and just going over the picks. We could talk about stocks and go into it. So I'm not a broker. I'm not licensed. These are my picks. I'm not telling anybody to buy anything. But if you follow me, it's on you. And that's it. So that's about it. So we'll go into more of that later on. I just want to make sure I'm compliant with everything. So they're doing the research. They actually sent me the email, so I have to give them some responses to go over it so they know exactly how I'm doing it and set me up that, I don't get jammed up. So answer some questions and I'm off to the races. Gotta get some food in me. Dom, wasn't the victim Angelo's cousin? I heard that too. Yes, I'm not sure about that, but I heard that as well. People are saying Dogecoin is the next Bitcoin. I don't know. I have Doge and I have Shiba Inu, whatever the hell that is, and I can't get into the damn wallet. Go figure. So, and I have some other coins with what's that account? Robinhood. I bought them back in the day, so I have to check it out. But the coin now is Bitcoin. Today it made a run. It really made a run. I was losing a lot of money with MicroStrategy. Bounced back today. Really nice. So I was happy to see that. And I think tomorrow Bitcoin is going to clear the 100,000 mark. If it does, I see it going to maybe 110, 115 before the new year. If it breaks, it's going to run. It's definitely going to run. My opinion. It's just, and I have no Bitcoin. So, do you have NVDA? No, I don't. I meant to get into it. I didn't. I think it might pull back a little bit more. Today it was up, I think $5. So if it pulls, excuse me, if it pulls back, I'll get in. But I do have AMD. Um, so I like that stock. I think that has a lot of room to run. But NVDA is an excellent stock. If you have it, hold on to it. That's my opinion. Do you know Joey DiNapoli? That DiNapoli just passed away. Yes, I've heard it. It's a shame, but he had a nice run, long run. The DiNapolis have a fine reputation in the Bronx. Westchester, they lived as well. And I'll tell some stories. I don't know if it was his cousin or brother, Frank DiNapoli, called him Cheech. I could tell you some drug stories with him. So we'll go into that at a later date. The smart move, that's a smart move with Boeing. Well, thank you, Puppet Master. I thought I just saw it bottoming. I think when it was in the 140s, it just hovered there. It had the resistance, and then it just going back up. And I like what their new CEO's doing. He told all the executives, no more private jets flying, go commercial. So he's trimming it down. So it's good. What else we have? Dom, do you know any of the Pittsburgh guys? Oh, I think Nick the Blade came from Pittsburgh. Wasn't a made guy. He was known for scams, cons. That's a better word, cons. And I'll go into Nick the Blade later on. I did time with him in Lewisburg and then Talladega. And his name was Nick. Nick, I'll get his name in a minute. So he was a zip, basically. For 2025, get Microsoft and Coinbase. I haven't really traded Microsoft, and I don't know why. Maybe because I like Apple, but I have to look into it. So, German, good to see you here. Thank you again for the contribution. Here's a contribution to Snowball's War Chest. Much love and respect, German. Germans from Australia, the land down under. More power to you, German. Thank you as always. Much love and respect. And when I do head down your way, I'm definitely gonna holler. I'm taking you out to dinner, you and family. That's without a doubt. Thank you. We have David. Love the show, Dom. Regards from Dublin, Ireland. Ireland too. That's another place I definitely want to go. So it might be on my trip. I'm not supposed to be nothing set yet, but my boy Michael Anderson in the UK, that's my partner, my brother from another mother. I'm coming out to see you. Coming out. It's well overdue. So we have Sean, Dom. Do you get involved with crypto? No, not really. I do have some coin. I can't get into the goddamn wallet. So go figure. It's a pain in the ass. Let's see. What else we have? Where do you rank the Bonanno crime family amongst the New York families? I would say the two elite, you have Genovese, Gambino, and then rank for third, I put all three of them, Bonanno, Colombo, and Lucchese, all leveled out. So I would say those three families are number three. So if that helps, that's my opinion with that. Dom, did you know Carmine Faris and Manny from the Lachinos? I knew Manny. Carmine, I didn't know. Manny was around Big Patty, if that's the same Manny we're talking about. And Manny was just, well, since we have Manny on, Vinny had a pager system. So Vinny's like, looks at his pager. I'm with him. He's like, let me see what this asshole wants. Manny. So because he sees the number. So he sees the code. It's Manny's code. So put a phone number in. So Vinny calls the phone number. Vinny's like, Dom, I recognize this number. I don't know. So he calls him. So they're talking. So he says, Manny, by the way, where you calling? Like, what's payphone is this? Manny tells Vinny, this is the payphone in Patty's club, Patty DiFilippo's club. Vinny said, you're fucking kidding me. Hangs up. Number one, that payphone you know is going to be bugged, wired up. How the fuck? So Vinny took his pager through it, said this page is dead. And when he saw Manny face to face, he ripped him a new asshole. Are you that effing stupid? That's like calling from, the phones are tapped in the club and you use the payphone in the club? Like, just, that's people we deal with, folks, in the Mafia. So, Philly Bob, Dom, I hope you and the wife have a great holiday. You as well, Philly. Hope you and your family have a happy holiday. Dom, what's up? Folks, I ain't hit Instagram. I took a day off from the weights. I was supposed to do legs today. I wanted to go, but my body's tired. I'm aching. So good aching though. So I needed the rest. So I just lounged around all day, played around with the stocks, and that's about it. So Andre, thank you so much for the contribution. Wow, it's greatly appreciated. Thanks for the comment. Here's to a good cigar. Much love from Texas. We got Texas in the house. You want a good cigar, go to Always Lit Cigars. We have 3 Capos. They're above. See that? 3 Capos and Bad Santa. Excellent, excellent cigar. Tell them on the website when you're filling it out, if you go there, tell them I sent you, and I'll let the guys know. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. Dom, any stories with Sopranos, Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm tongue twisted tonight. No, really, no stories with Jersey other than the New York guys. Devacavas, that's what he said. Devacante. I was actually away with John Riggy, who was the boss. Really, really nice guy. We were in Cumberland, Maryland together. And he was, from what I was told, he was massive. He was over 300 pounds. And he's not that tall, maybe 5'7", 5'8". And walking the track every day. I mean, he had to weigh about 180 pounds. And you could see like the skin hanging from him. So it was, it was nice to see him that athletic. And, he was doing time. That's what you do. You work out, get in shape, get your mind right. Do you have any dealings with Jojo Carrazzo? No, I don't. I had no dealings with him. The only Carrazzo I had dealings with was Blaze, his brother, the buffoon. A long story short, thank you for the contribution. Greatly appreciated. Do you remember Egyptian Mike from Cafe Serrano's? Egyptian Mike. Wow. No. Cafe Serrano's, Pat. Actually, when I came home, I reached out, I think, on social media. Pat, and there was somebody else we spoke to. I was my boy. And then we had the bartender back there, Iris. That was another one. Oh, I had some fun in there at that place. Oh my Lord. I'm gonna tell you some Cafe Sueño stories. Definitely have a lot of stories there, especially with Ace. I have some funny ones too. Much love from Washington, D.C. Thank you. Pat, Mikey Scars had Greg Carlino, the brains behind the scores, on, and he said that Angelo Prisco was trying to finesse him away from the Gambinos and claimed him and the strip club a gentleman. Angelo was a gentleman, real good guy, but that's what they do in the life, of course. They see an earner and that's it. Later on, I wound up the guy Bobby Gantz. He owned Metropolitan Lumber. He owned Penthouse Club, which was around me. I protected them, and then eventually he bought Scores out. But I never took an envelope from them. Always went in there. I had, if I wanted to wear a hat, I could wear a hat. No hats were allowed, but I could wear one going in. If I wanted to dress like this, I could get in like this. And if you're with me, we're getting in. And I had the VIP table, and I pay my own bills. And that was it. That's all I asked for. So, and to me, that was worth a lot more, because here I'm walking into an establishment, people are wearing suits, and everybody knows there's a dress code. And I'm walking with a hat. I have bankers, I have investors with me, and they're like, "Fuck!" Like I used to have them say, "Oh, you own this joint." No, I don't own it. I don't own it. Even the girls in there, and I had a blast. I had a blast. There'll be stories with that as well. Um, did you ever have any dealings with any members of other families outside in New York? No, not really. Only when I was in Philly. I've stayed at the Kentuck House that was in Center City. There was a few wise guys there that I was away with, but I never really dealt with them. Nice group. Love the food there. Excellent, excellent food. So, anybody know a Fat Joey from the Bronx? Fat Joey. Let me know, because I heard he says he's Vinny's cousin. So anybody know a Fat Joey from the Bronx? Trying to find out. Everybody asks, nobody knows him, and I've been in the Bronx my whole life. And it's funny, the people I ask have been in the Bronx their whole lives. So Angelo was a nice guy. If you knew him well, he was a crude MF, LOL. In the later years, he was not a big money guy. Lawyers took everything from him. He didn't get along with Andrew. You know what? You're right. Later on in life, he was just trying to get by. Back in the day, he had money. And you're right. You're 1,000% right. He wasn't making money at all. He would hustle things. There has guys going out doing petty crimes, but he was a street guy, so that's all he knew. Did you ever work with Vinny TV? No, never worked with him. Did you have any dealings with Gas Pipe? No, or DeMayo? No, that's before my time. I was a baby. I have Gas Pipe stories from little Oscar Ansorian, who was around them. Gas like the Coke. They used to call it Shirley. Oscar and Vic Amuso used to say, "Hey, you see Gas around?" Nah, he's with Shirley. He's been with Shirley for a few days. That meant that was their code word for he's sniffing. He's ragging it up. Mike, Dom, have you ever heard of that podcast, an episode? They covered the George Keogh story, but it was from a perspective of the investigator. You know what? I did hear it, Mike, and we're definitely going to talk about that, because that investigator, the cop, was a piece of fucking garbage. A piece of garbage. He planted evidence. He fabricated evidence, said the body was put, listen to this one, the body was placed in the rental car, the rental caddy, that there was blood in the trunk. That's where the body was placed. On my kids, the body was placed in my Cadillac, never in the rental car. There was never any blood in the rental car. It was put in my Cadillac, my car. But that's how they tried tying me in, saying it was the rental car, my car. And I ripped out the whole lining of the car, clean. There was no evidence in the car of blood whatsoever. But that's how dirty they were. Broward County Sheriff's Office. And on Sicali's Corner Unfiltered, I'm gonna blow that sheriff's office up. How dirty they were. They had it right. I killed the guy, but they were dirty, 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 just like the DEA. And Sicali's Corner Unfiltered, bring them up too. And the DA was Agent Dan Anderson, another piece of shit, piece of garbage. Folks, law enforcement, I respect. Cool, do your job. Don't cross that line, because when you cross that line, you're worse than I am. And that's the way I feel, especially setting people up. They have the cards are in their favor. Their job is to catch criminals like me. Simple, simple. At that time, I was a criminal. No longer, but that's their job. And my job is to get away. Simple. But when they start setting you up because they have a hard on for you, that's dirt. That's dirty. That is dirty. So, do you have any quick Ronnie G stories? Not tonight, because I'm getting ready to pack it in. So, folks, wish everybody the best. Again, thank you for the contributions. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. We'll go into more tomorrow. I'll be back on. So, stay safe. Enjoy it. Holidays. Stay with your families. Hug your kids. And teach them streets are not their friends. Everybody, peace out. Have a wonderful evening.